I've decided I want to raise the waist of my pants a little bit, so I'm just gonna bring it up evenly, the same amount on all the pieces. I'm still gonna make sure I have my notches. You can mark notches by just little snips. If it's a double notch, mark 2 snips. If it's a single notch, mark 1 snip. You can also do the little triangles coming out. The triangles are harder to cut, but easier to see. And sometimes, like in this case, when I didn't have very much fabric, I just did the snips instead. So that's why I'll sometimes use both. So you want your fabric to be flat down along the edge to get it perfect. If you're trying to be perfect here, let's see. Pin. And feel free to use a rotary cutter for the straight lines, especially. It's fast. Didn't even cut, damn it. I'm just going to keep this pinned together. Come here. pockets, we need 4 of these for either side seam pockets or slant side seam pockets. We're going to start by cutting out 4 of these. So I have 2 layers of fabric, so I'm going to go 2 and then 2 more. I can get it right here. If you want to do 4 at a time. So again, we're looking for the grain line. I cut this piece off of the grain. I know my grain was parallel to the fold. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to do fast. Can I do 4 at once? Yes. Now for your facings, make sure that your grain line is the same as the grain line in your pants. So you want it to be straight up and down just the way that they were on the pants. Remember, this is the top waist of the pants edge. So it needs to go parallel to the selvage like that, even though I know it's very tempting to put them this way because you usually end up with more space that way. Try to find a spot that fits this way, because when you're putting these together, you're relying on the extra stretch that goes across the grain when you're putting them together, so they're going to fit better. So if they don't fit in a spot, just try to find a different spot for them on your fabric. And something fun you can do is put it in a contrast fabric. I'm using this one. I need 2 of them. 2 of each. See how that goes up and down like that, parallel with that. It's a bit of an angle like that. And comes out. And because I added a little bit to the height of my pants, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm very much winging it on these, and that's kind of my style, but you can measure and do it more properly if you want to. cut out cuffs, optional cuffs, what you need to do is get both of your pant legs. We got back, front pant. I'm measuring straight across. So I have two seams. So I'm going to take an inch off. So I've got 19.5. I'm actually going to just call this 19. I'm going to take an inch off, so I'm going to cut it to 18 by 6 inches. So 18 inches long by 6 inches, that's going to be my cuff. Two of them, so we're running up 6. I'm just going to quickly show you how the cuffs are going to work. It's going to be sewn in half, like this. Then this whole thing gets folded in half. This is going to be sewn into a circle still. There will be elastic in there, and it will be stitched through. It will be a cute little bottom cuff. Cuffs. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to make the side seam pocket into a slant pocket. So we need the front, got the front, and I've got pockets. So we cut out 4 pockets, and we only need 2 of them for the front to do the slant on. We have 4 pocket pieces, and we're going to be cutting the slant on the 2 pants front and 2 of the pocket pieces. So you're going to have to choose 2 mirror images of your pockets if you have a right and a wrong side. My fabric doesn't, so it actually doesn't matter which ones I pick. I'm picking 2. And we're going to be looking at the bottom of the pocket opening. So this is where your hand is going to go in on the sides of your pocket. But because we're slanting it, we're going to be having an angle. This is the top edge of your pants. So it's going to be something like this, so that this is going to be waistband. So part of this is going to be covered. So you're going to be putting your hand in like that. So we need to draw an angle from above this, actually, because this is the opening, so we want to have a little bit of seam allowance. So we could say about 1/2 inch above that marking. So I'm going to mark a little line there. And apart from that, it's sort of your choice how you want this angled. If you want it angled in more, or you can do it a lot less. It's going to be about 1/2 inch bigger than this, because right now we're going to be sewing it, so there's going to be a seam allowance as well. So if you want your line to end up here on the front of your pants, then cut it 1/2 inch over from that spot, or 3/8 of an inch or something like that. And keep in mind that you have a seam allowance. It has to be above that star. So I'm going to bring it in like this, and I'm going to just draw a light line there. And you can curve this as well if you want. You can make it whatever shape you want. Sometimes they're curved a little bit. I'm going to be folding it on this line. Originally had it up here, but because I added to my waist, I'm going to bring it down here. And that's still going to be okay. You can bring your pocket lower as long as your facing is going to cover the top edge. So you need to have maybe a good inch in there. So that's going to be stitched down, so it'll be still holding the pocket to your pants. And that's going to be your opening of your hand, for your hand. So I'm going to have my pocket here, and just to mark it so I know exactly where I want it, I'm going to put a little mark. That's the bottom edge. This is not a sewing marker. Just kind of marked where the edge of the pocket's going to be going. Okay, so I ended up recutting my pockets because I did want them to be big enough to come all the way up to the top, and I had made my waist taller, so that's what happens when you change up your patterns partway through making it. Okay, so I have 2 front, 2 back pockets now. The slanted ones are the pockets for the front. I'm going to take this piece, actually, I'm just going to use the actual pocket piece. Now remember, this edge should be lined up here. But we're angling it. So I'm going to do, we want to basically mark it the same as the pocket. Cut it the same as the pocket. I'm going to leave these all together because they have to be sewn together soon. The last thing to cut is the drawstring, and to figure out where so the size of drawstring you need is enough so that so the drawstring is going to be okay. Where's that piece? Okay. Example. I'm going to do a small example. This is the pants. They're small, this is kids' pants. The elastic is going to go around the back and just a little bit in the front. Then you're going to get two pieces of drawstring attached to that. So this will be sewn. So this is the back. It's stretchy in the back and it stretches all the way just around to the front. Then these are going to be threaded coming out your buttonholes in the front of your pants. And you can tie this as tight as you want it. But as it's tied, it stays stretchy. So you can pull them up and down without undoing your knot. And that is my genius way of doing a perfect fit waistband. You don't even have to try them on, because you can just tighten it with your drawstring. So that's what we're doing. We're cutting a drawstring that's going to be long enough, because you'll need two pieces, long enough to reach from your hips across your front and tie, as long as you want that. I usually end up cutting just longer than I know I need, and trimming it down to the size once I'm there. I'm gonna go here. The ties can be cut straight grain or cross grain. Straight grain is usually a little easier to sew because it's less stretchy, so it's easier to fold it and sew it. and you want to cut it 4 times wider than your desired width. So if you want to have a drawstring that's, I'm cutting mine to be 1.5 inches. I'm going to go 1.5 inches. Good enough. Back, front, pockets, 4 altogether. 2 are slanted, 2 are straight. Back facing, that matches the back. Front facing, that matches the front, but if you have slanted the front, it's not going to match all the way to the side. Don't stress about that. That is going to match later. Same with the back pocket. Even though this is the back of the pocket, it is going to be aligning with the front waist. So don't worry about it aligning here. It's not going to. That's fine. And then I have my cuffs.